GGWP has banned the Nevsky. Star has banned the Des Moines. Wow. Man, I'm blown away. I'm blown away by both these teams, by Star and GGWP. These guys have put up. This is going to be an absolutely fantastic match, and I cannot wait. I cannot wait to watch these.
Well, I think we've got to address the holy crap that just happened in the room. For those that were paying attention, GGWP just knocked 07 into the losers bracket, which means that the highest they can achieve in this tournament is going to be third. GGWP looking like Kingslayers right now, walking in. I don't know if they know the power of the Star Destroyer that they're about to be facing. Now, we did just catch Star in the previous matchup, so we know about the Star Destroyer comp. We know about the death and the lasers that can be coming for that face. But at the same time, GGWP just dethroned a king, bled the Red Wedding all over the screen for a 5-match brawl. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm going to have to say dethroning 07 is immediately going to catch my attention and take GGWP might just GGWP themselves all the way through this matchup. But we saw some excellent, and I mean excellent, cross-torping, pressure, positioning coming out of Star. I'm thinking I'm thinking this is gonna be a run for the money after what we saw.
Yeah, this has been spicy. I've been typing stuff all over the place just because I'm trying to keep up with all the current news. Current news? What am I? Who am I? It's so pretentious. Yeah, this is exciting, man. I can't wait. I'm so looking forward. Two great teams. We just watched both of these teams do some really extraordinary stuff. GGWP obviously besting 07, the previous champs, the heavy favorites to win the tournament in a 3-2, and we watched Star throw down some absolutely extraordinary DD skills, which I'm sure will be put to the test here to see exactly how they do this. So I can't wait. I'm thrilled. I'm so glad that we chose to cast this one.
Well, Bugsy, you got the God touch, man. You're the one that saw this one going where it was going, and excellent choice there, sir.
Yeah, man. I'm so stinky. I'm so sweaty because of how... I'm just so sweaty and stinky because of this, man. It's crazy. Oh, we have a compliment from Zornbringer, whom I know you know. They appreciate our camera work. So, thank you, Zornbringer. I know this will catch you in 5 minutes, but...
Zorn's a good dude. Taught me quite a bit about the Graf Zeppelin. Turns out that was the carrier he decided to learn how to carry her on, probably because he's German and it's German. As you know, nation pride and stuff.
Absolutely.
He showed me a lot about... I'm sorry, I'm eating some pasta. I didn't expect this to go so quickly.
That's okay, buddy.
But he showed me about the high-velocity torpedo strikes that the Graf Zeppelin can pull, as well as its ability not to bomb from an angle, but to bomb from the waterline. That you can ride the animation down so far, so fast, that you can come in sideways and rip right through the sidewalls of a Yamato to get citadels, which is like, okay.
wait. With the Graf Zeppelin?
With the Graf Zeppelin, the bombing animation, if you go very quickly, the planes will actually get to the surface of the water while the animation is still going. So rather than crash into the water, they level out and they just ride right at the edge of the water line. And you can put the reticle on the target, drop basically sideways through the sidewall of even a battleship. And the Graf Zeppelin, because it has such a, well, frankly, awkward drop angle of like 45 degrees, the raw pen on those bombs is just huge. So it can rip right through battleship sidewalls and crash into the citadel, even from just straight up the side, which is like, okay, I did not know that.
Man, that's wild. I got to try that.
Yeah, lots of wild stuff today. Well, one thing I know We saw Star basically, once they've kind of gotten locked in, they readied up pretty quick, and we see GGWP is already in the match. They've got their 9 people loaded onto the room, plus it looks like their sub is hanging out just in case he's needed. First map's going to be North. So, I don't think we did North in the previous set. In fact, I'm pretty sure we didn't. North has an open water cap over at A, which is usually going to be led into by some form of smoke and Nevsky, but there's no Nevsky this time. So that could lead itself to a Wooster. It could lead itself to, well, frankly, I'm just not sure what they would be able to put in that smoke, or if they want to do some long-range trading. Maybe it comes down to some Goliath play. Maybe it comes to some Venezia play for those long-range high-velocity shells. God forbid, what would happen if you smoked a Zhao? Tried to bingo stuff with that amazing aim that it's got. Over in B, there's going to be a bit of that destroyer little butt wiggle dance where one person's taking it, the other person's taking it, and eventually some cruiser somewhere radars so they can slap a little lollipop on the cheeks and kick it out and kick it back out of their room. And over at Charlie is usually where the interesting part catches up. Now, we have seen a Russian team that only took A and B, completely forsaking Charlie, throwing the enemy team utterly off the map. But this is North America, and that's just not done here, which means that there's either the brute force option, where you just walk in and claim it, or there's the long game, where people are going to be sending those ships all the way down that 9-10 line, bunkering up on those islands, leapfrogging like no man's land in World War I, as they're slowly taking from cover to cover as they gain possession of the map. Long game usually takes about 5 to 8 minutes to set up before a team is able to wrap and just lock down Charlie. But in that 5 to 8 minutes, A and even B can fall if too many assets are put over to that C cap. What do you want to see out of this match in terms of ship choice over there on the other side, Bogsy?
Great question. So, because I want to say like 2 very distinctly effective ships have been banned. Obviously, the Nevsky is the choice open water radar threat with high velocity guns. They're very dangerous against destroyers trying to cap, because they can keep them lit and they can hit them. They can usually hit them at least twice before they're able to get out of their radar range. That's gone now, which means that open water Stalingrad and Moskva is less appealing, as they're a lot chunkier, easier to torpedo, and they burn. They like to burn. So, I'm interested to see what they do. I sort of wonder if this is the time when Star makes use of the radar Yu Yang that was banned from them last match. You remember the fact that Yu Yang was banned specifically by XPN because they knew that Star was taking it?
Absolutely.
So I'm interested to see if they attempt to use this radar Yu Yang to cover these caps. And if that's the case, then are they going to trade out a Gearing? Are they going to trade out the Marceaus, or maybe that Z52 that they were bringing for funsies there? I feel like the Z52 was a replacement for a Yu Yang, just because they're trying to keep something lit so that other things can shoot at it. Yeah, it's interesting. I'm curious also to know, now that the Des Moines obviously got an easy. It's got an easy replacement in the Salem. It's not quite as ideal. 8.5 kilometer radar, does not have the legendary module that allows it to speed juke a little bit. But in terms of DPM, it's an effective replacement. Yeah, it seems like GGWP in the games that I saw used Des Moines to great effect, and I think that's why Star was like, but they also use Moskvas very well. So we're gonna have to see, but I'm really interested to see how GGWP reacts to the DD heavy and arguably like very DD centric strategies of Star, as it has clearly done them well so far. And fresh off a hot victory against North America's reigning champions of COTS 07, I'm wondering if GGWP is going to be able to adapt quick enough to Star's playstyle. I think this is going to be good. I'm looking forward to this a lot.
Absolutely. I mean, if GGWP follows more conventional formats, I think GGWP was a recently formed clan, which has shown up in the last few months. There are several X07 members, as well as some highly known members from a variety of different clans, which all kind of grew together to make this new, powerhouse of GGWP. That does mean, however, that they may be locked into some more conventional stylings, more conventional thoughts, where you're going to take island positions, you're going to use it for crossfire, you're going to have an attritional-based warfare system. If Star comes in with this innovative, weird, destroyer, cross-torping craziness, that really may catch GGWP with a more classic style by surprise. That being said, they may not be able to find the torp lines to really find a way in, but as the match 1 is underway, we will soon find out, Sir Bogsy.
We will. Here we go. Okay, so GGWP versus Star, game 1 on North. Okay, very interesting. I'm going to go ahead and get us started off with Star. So, wrong side, excuse me. Coming in, red team is Star. Going to be going with Ohio Yamato. They definitely like that Yamato, played by Flores. Salem, Goliath, Venezia, Moskva is going to be their cruiser lineup. We have one 12-kilometer radar, 2 heavy tankers with super heals, and the very dangerous Venezia that we're very likely going to see on the 1 line. 3 DDs this time, not the classic 4 that they've been utilizing so well. Gearing, Z52, and Yu Yang. So they did bring the Yu Yang. Let's see where they actually go ahead and put that DD radar.
All right, and on the other side with GGWP, we've got a Kremlin and a Shikishima. So bring in the fewer but the bigger guns than the Yamato, and a Kremlin on the other side to point its nose at something and live forever. In the cruiser lineup, they've got a Worcester, double Salem, and a Venezia. So the Des Moines ban loses them the maneuverability of the unique module to the Des Moines, but it gains them the disgusting amount of healing that the Salem has, with a Venezia to go wide, probably to match the opposing team. We've got a Gearing, a Daring, and a Kleber. A little bit more of a standard lineup with the Daring having a heal to be able to contest, well, the contestable spots. Usually Charlie's going to have a whole bunch of damage, and potentially Bravo as well. And we'll have to see what if the Kleber is able to run down and somehow grab a cap early, as some people like to use it.
So here's my main concern here about, as I watch the Z52 and Netaklaus coming in against the Daring of Amatsukaze. I've seen Amatsukaze play DDs in COTS before, especially here in this middle cap. Amatsukaze is an exceptionally good DD player. What's going to happen here is Z52 is naturally going to get as close as possible back in Hydro and then smoke up if he needs to. He's going to be radared by the Salem in return, but at the very least, he's going to get a little bit of a trade-off, but the Daring can handle it much better. So here come the shots on Netaklaus now. The question is, how much damage does he take getting into position? He's going to take some damage as some ducky shots. Wow. As some ducky shot comes in. Big shots coming in on the Goliath. Is he going to get nailed? No, he doesn't. So Kleber of Fazy for GGWP does the sneaky. He runs all the way over to C, he gets behind the island, and he takes it. The question is he going to F off and run once it's done, or is he going to stay there and try to hold it? Coming in over on the A side, of course, Yu Yang of Benevolent Fair, who's now, he's now into Yu Yang, is going to be contested by Yoshi44 of GGWP, the Worcester, and the Shikishima. Very likely the Gearing is going to smoke up that Worcester, and that Worcester is going to bring the pain.
Well, this is remarkable in the sense that double Salem is at Bravo. One has to wonder if they're going to just hold that position and try to use the gun range, which, I don't know, maybe it can hit a Goliath from there, or if they're going to end up forcibly taking Bravo and somehow trying to clip new positions. As all of Stars has basically spread out between Charlie and Alpha, only the Goliath could even shoot at them if they decided to move up. That's a lot of resources on a single cap in the middle of the match. Meanwhile, the Yu Yang of Captain Benevolent Fair is chucking torps out toward the Worcester. Actually looks like that line is pretty good, but the Worcester's going to keep on moving in the smoke. And A will soon fall as the Z52 does have his Hydro out. Some shots going on to Amatsukaze. Looks like the Hydra's probably keeping that going. Just to double check, we're going to move in here, and yes, he's about 5.5 away from the Z52. So there are shells coming in, forcing the Daring off, as the Kleber has run indeed, and X100 about to step on the Charlie cap looking for that, while the Worcester threatening A, having already been claimed by Captain Benevolent Fair. The Gearing of Yoshi44 having the closer backup, and the fact that the enemy has radar, well, the GGWP has radar, has to cede A, which I expect will fall shortly after C is claimed by Star.
Yeah, I have to say, these guys, these boys from Star and their destroyers, they really know how to play DDs, and they've done a fantastic job so far in everything that I've seen. Star already, excuse me, X100 already knowing, hey, if the Clever came in, took it from the back, and then ran away, haha, there's nothing here to stop me. There's no 12 km radar that's going to stop me. He can just take it. That's exactly what he does. The question then is, was that a good choice or was that a good use of the Clever to get in there? And he's coming back, so now the Salem of Lord Loran is going around on the seaside there to prevent the Clever from actually getting away if he tries to do it again, as the Moskva, let's go ahead and take a look over here, as the Moskva of Fiota is already moving up. I think he hydroed there just in case there were Clever Torps coming. Fazy's going to get caught. Fazy's going to get caught between the Gearing, the Moskva, and the Salem, along with the Ohio, and I don't think this is going to work well for him. We're going to have to wait and see if and when he actually gets caught there, but it's only a matter of time. As the Goliath in the center for Star, taking lots and lots of damage, looking to see a zombie heal coming out of him soon.
So I think I've determined why those double Salems are at Bravo. They wanted the free cap badly, but it turns out with the Z-52's endless effing hydro, Amatsukaze continues to be forced back from Bravo over and over and over again. However, now, 5 minutes into the match, Neto is no longer able to detect that gearing. If he backs up to try to get a reset, he might walk into Torps, which would be no fun, but more so, he's going to walk into the guns of Ducky Shot, and that's going to be permanent health loss as the Z-52 does not heal. Now we're seeing Bravo over half taken, the Daring even moving up, potentially to spot the Z-52, but probably just going to take it and back off. And then they might rotate the Daring over to Charlie, I think, to give some kind of reinforcement while those Salems continue to hold B. Meanwhile, over at A, we've got Yu Yang Torps heading toward a Wooster, but they are not bound for success as the Wooster is in a kiting position. And now, cleverly taking A and holding it, Gearing re-smokes, recloaking the Wooster, whose radar will probably be back up in, I don't know, 30 seconds or so. So Captain Benevolent Fair reversing over toward A so he can lose a little more health and pull out a radar consumable. Nothing's going to happen there as the Clobert of GGWP's Fazy caps Charlie.
Yep, at the cost of 5,000 HP. We did correctly predict that that's exactly what Star was planning to do. They're now aggressively moving this Moskva up. That's a very interesting choice. All it really has to be contested by is a Venezia. Venezia, generally speaking, is going to smack a Moskva around because of those huge sap shells that really like to find their mark all over the upper part of a Moskva. However, he's got a lot of backup. He's got a Salem. Got a Salem on wide. The question is whether Lord Loran will actually move himself up here to the edge of the 10-line island over there, and whether the Ohio of Kempfer, who has been exceptionally effective this match, excuse me, not this match, this series, I want to say, what he's going to get on. Is Amatsukaze going to take a torpedo? No. Do the Ohio shells find their mark on the Salem? Oh, he was shooting at the DD. Very interesting. Both of these teams very efficient, very effective. Benevolent Fair's Yu Yang taking lots and lots of damage. If he goes down over there to that Wooster, you could be in deep, deep trouble, as that will swing the entirety of the A cap firmly in GGWP's favor without much redress, excuse me.
Man, it was close. So the Yu Yang definitely went to A so he could lose some health, and lose some health he did. He definitely succeeded in his venture. He did pull out the radar, and he did pull out the shells, and he bled about 20,000 health in that single exchange, with no ability to move forward against a Gearing that can out-detect him, I think, and a Wooster that can radar him. That Yu Yang has to bail. Z-52 reversing as one of the Salems has left, and the current one in Dire does not have angles on the Z-52, but does have spotting, and Amatsukaze's in a Daring. Daring ain't nothing to fuck with, as the Z-52 has only 12,000 health versus the Daring's 13. If a detection comes across, the Daring could simply run down the Z-52, as while the Z has a better hydro, the Daring's got a hydro as well. That ain't nothing to mess with, and sure enough, the Z-52 disengages, leaving Alpha and Bravo still in the hands of GGWP, up by over 300 points, as it looks like Star is trying to make their move for Charlie. They're gonna get it with X100 unless he gets reset, which I don't think he is, while Fiota takes a pounding, giving him the space to take it.
Yep, Fiota showing a little too much broadside to Ducky Shot Salem. Those American AP shells do enormous damage, and they have advanced pen angles, meaning they will pen the 150 millimeter Citadel belt of a Moskva with ease, even at somewhat decent range, which is exactly what we saw there as the Ohio of Kempfer now moving up aggressively. If Kempfer stays here, he can literally blap Ducky Shot right out of the game with 457s through the nose or through the upper hull. There they go. Is he going to find his mark as other shells come in? Bang! Ducky shot taking a huge hit right through the nose. He does have that zombie heal, but it only heals a certain amount of citadel damage. If you know what that is, please help me out, Oscons. But there he goes, zombie heal getting him back up to 24,000. But that's half a duck gone right there.
Yeah, I think it's only able to heal a third of the damage it takes, which is similar to other cruisers. It's just that its heal is so effing big. So while it does take the citadel damage, it's able to recover some, but that might be all she wrote, down to half health at just under 24k. The Ohio of Camford continues to roar up the 9 line with Salem's support, leaving that Moskva with little health behind, but still the Ohio is able to move. Cross shots from a Shikishima coming in on the Salem. They look like they're a little too far as the Salem is going to use the island cover. Ohio versus a Kremlin with a Venezia on top of him. I don't know if that's something he's going to be able to win, so Lord Lauren's got to get his guns in the fight, but for now, C is claimed. The problem is Alpha and Bravo is not. The Z-52, if Neto, is still held back by the Salem of Dyer, holding down Bravo with that radar pressure. He's not going to have the Hydro, as the Salem can only pick one or the other, but Ducky Shot being able to evacuate Charlie has gotten closer to Bravo. So even more support there as the two caps continue to tick points up. 400 points in the favor of GGWP. Yu Yang can't contest, Neto can't contest, X100's got Torps out on the Ducky Shot as he's going to move over to Bravo and see what he can catch there. Star's healthy ships, the Yamato, the Goliath, the Venezia, they're going to have to put their health on the line here because something's got to break.
Looks like Ducky might take one in the butt here. No, he dodges that. Let's see here. So taking quick stock real quick, GGWP as is current wins in 1 minute 45 seconds. That is barring any sort of kill. They are up on health. They are up on caps. I think that the double Salem's in the center, very interesting. They did prevent the Z-52 from ever contesting. My main concern is that Star never really reacted well to that. They never took the resources that they clearly couldn't make use of at B and moved them either to C or to A. I would have loved to see maybe the Z-52 move up into around A to attempt to give a little extra pressure on that Worcester gearing. Down goes Ducky, though, in the center. That's a big deal. One Salem down. C is theirs. B being contested. Okay, we may have a fight on our hands here, folks.
Yeah, it looks like Ohio bled a lot of manufacturing jobs along with health, and Camphor unable to push further than the D-line as the Salem of Dyer is going to begin entering into the farm, while the Kremlin of Rue, whatever you say, Rue, and a Torp from Battleship Princess Rulia of the Venezia was able to secure the kill on the Ohio. Salem of Lord Lauren is immediately turning around, and this is already looking like a problem as the Moskva is starting to get farmed. Fiota also not long for this world. The Venezia opening up in a crossfire between a Salem, a Venezia, and eventually a Kremlin. Once those ships move forward and kill this Moskva, there's a running Salem that's not going to stop them from taking C with an advantage of 450 points. Now even more with that kicks it up to 530. This is a win in 51 seconds, unless the Yu Yang with 638 health can somehow kill a gearing and step on Alpha. There's just no way.
No, it's just not. Star, unfortunately, coming in too little too late here. They are actually pushing GGWP back in the places where it matters, but they're just so far behind on points. Only 20 points to go until a win, which translates to roughly about 25 more seconds here. Yep, down goes the Yu Yang. That's game one going to GGWP. I'm gonna update that real quick.
So, gonna have to say, that was dominant. That was really dominant. Star was able to bring in those some of those destroyers to try to make plays, but they didn't roll with 4, they rolled with 3. They rolled with a Yu Yang that didn't land Torps into a cruiser. They ran with a Z-52, which didn't have any form of backup or threat. He was able to Hydra the Cap to force the DD out, but there was nobody to help. Nobody to shoot the destroyer, nobody to drive off the Daring, nothing. So all he could do was simply light the Daring and watch him not die. So the Daring stayed, and with the commitment of the double Salem, which frankly, wow, that was a lot of resources to put into Bravo, but it paid off. When the Z-52's Hydra ran out, He had nothing, no options, nothing. And kind of like you, it would have been nice if he just recognized, man, this stuff ain't gonna go nowhere, and just bailed. What if he had gone over to Alpha? What if he had a Hydro to be able to kind of bully back that gearing with the spotting pressure against a Wooster if they'd really forced up those assets at A and just tried to roll over that Wooster? It would have hurt. It absolutely hurt the Yu Yang. But the Z52 is fairly fresh. They might have been able to pull something out. Meanwhile, over at Charlie, they did go for the long game, and they ran all the way up the 9-10 line, only to watch their Ohio fall as a crossfire happened. And Ducky Shot paid for it with his life, but the Ohio fell, and then Charlie fell. It just didn't happen. The GGP held that center cap, held the map control all the way through. It was dominant, Bogsy.
It was. So here's the thing again, hindsight always 2020. What I really would have liked to have seen was something that didn't happen in this game that did happen in Star's last match against XPN. Was against XPN, Star had a really, really good handle on when to fall back and what to fall back with to avoid letting themselves get wrapped. Now, they didn't really get mapped in this match. They just got out attritioned. And that allowed GGWP to basically just sort of sit and wait and win, and it worked. So what ended up happening when they realized that A was lost, and I think the Yu Yang's a mistake here. I really do. I understand the notion of it, but I think up at this level, no one's getting trapped by Yu Yang radar. It's just not going to happen, especially not when they're being backed up by a Wooster. Let me put it that way. So what ends up happening, I think, in this situation is you had the Venezia out there. The Venezia needed to stay out there and be the threat. So you've got your Yu Yang chills and waits for the gearing to push into it, and then the Venezia smacks it, and the Yu Yang runs. At that point, the Yamato should have rotated back and begun to work on those Salems, just one at a time, because there's always going to be one that it can attempt to lob shells on. But the Yamato is what, in my opinion, should have rotated back, because the Yamato is useless against a Wooster. It's not going to see it because of the smoke. Even when it does, it's very likely to overpen the entire thing because the shells are so big and the Wooster is so thin. So I would have loved to see at A, to see them effectively leave the correct ship, which would have been the kiting cruiser that can slap things that try to turn broadside and get around it. At the C side, they made an aggressive push, which was good, but GGWP had the exact same thing. They had Battleship and Venezia that was still out there kiting away, not allowing themselves to get wrapped. And I think that I really think that Star made a mistake by pushing that Ohio up too far instead of maybe pushing it through to contest the cruisers. I think it could have stayed there. When he smacked Ducky Shot that hard through the mouth, that should have been the end of it. He should have stayed right there, finished Ducky Shot, or at least said, you must leave, and then been a threat to anything across the map. That would also keep any DD from coming back, which is, I think, was part of the problem there. And then, yeah, you rotate your resources. You leverage your Matsukaze's daring out of the B cap, and you start trying to get rid of those Salems in the middle. If you can't take A, which you can't, take the other two. You have to do it that way. And it just took them a little too long to actually kind of like adjust that muscle that they had there. We'll see if they figured that out for the next match. One thing before I throw it back to you, because I realize I'm talking too much. The next map is Crash Zone Alpha. Crash Zone Alpha is one of the diagonal maps that Star has used extraordinarily well with their 4DD strats. I'm really excited to see if Star pulls out the 4DDs against GGWP here on Crash Zone Alpha in the next match.
Well, I can definitely echo that. And one other point with the Ohio, when he was able to get that drive-by shot off that didn't finish off the Salem, well, we saw Ducky Shot back up into the torps of a Star DD. Without the Ohio being there, Ducky Shot was simply able to move forward and avoid all of those torps. Either way, if the Ohio had stayed, that would have kept him in a double jeopardy. Which way do you want to die, sir? But that did not happen, as the Ohio did not get the dev strike and kept on moving along his way. But moving on to the next one, we've got Crash Zone Alpha coming up. Will we expect 4 DDs out of Star? Well, God, I hope so. That was absolutely their strength in the matches that we cast earlier today. I'm going to be honest, it was a little disappointing seeing them go down to a 3-destroyer strat, as it just didn't pay dividends. Granted, I don't know what they could have done at Alpha against a smoked-up Wooster, but still, I would have liked to see maybe some of those cross-torps that we've saw so effectively over and over and over in the previous set. If you bring more destroyers, you have more torps. It's a simple truth. As far as coming around, again, I have to think that GG Well Played is going to have to look for some kind of standard, consistent play pattern, which is going to resolve into some kind of Moskvas or Stalingrads to hold some islands. You're going to have some stuff going way wide, and I think if Star is able to leverage its power in destroyer play, they might be able to get those wide flanks early and get some kind of crazy torps off to really just bank this whole thing. Do you think, well, just to roll off the last one, what do you think might happen if GGWP skirts the norm and decides to take 2 ships, or hell, even 3 ships, ram it home into Bravo, and try to lock home that center position on the map? Would that be something they could do, or would they just get sieged down?
I'm sorry, I was listening, but at the same time, Gaishu from Roxy has hopped in as a spectator. However, there seems to be chatter in the thing about putting Gaishu on GGWP's team. I can't tell if he's joking or not. I'm pretty sure the GGWP guys are joking, but man, there's talk of it not being against the rules. And is he leaving?
I guess Gaishu gonna Gaishu.
Yeah, he's leaving. He legit wanted to play rather than stream. Don't understand. Like, I understand that you're supposed to have 12 people registered for your COTS team. 7 people and 5 subs. I've noticed this time around, I've heard several times that doesn't mean those are the only people you can play. But at the same time, what the fuck? Like, there has to be some limitation out of this. Otherwise, like I was literally saying last weekend, for example, when TNG was being told, hey, you guys need to find 7 subs in 5 minutes or you forfeit. And I was like, if you do that, if that's the rule, like if we're only supposed to have 12 people registered, right? So we don't have 7 subs available. So if you do that, I will go to 07 right now and I will find everyone who's willing. You know, and I have a pretty good friendship with these guys. So it's like, if that's the case, I will go there and I will ask anyone who's willing to volunteer, and then we'll just play. Is that what you want? And they were like, that is not what we want. And it's like, okay, then give us a fucking second.
Well, it did look like Irangi, the referee that's in the room, said, talk to the higher-ups, not me. The answer is no. So he was having none of that shit. Guys who hopped into the spectator thing and was ultimately, nope, he was given the boot. Warp, warp. And GGWP has reclaimed their original lineup, at least from what I see. And it does look like both the Star team and the GGWP team is readied up.
I do appreciate the refs being willing to stand by and just be like, no, you can't do that. We're not just playing ring around the rosy here. So anyway, looks like everybody's ready up. We're just waiting for it here. I'm gonna just let them know. Moskons and Bogsy ready. Okay. Yeah, and it's you know, nothing personal against Gaishu there, of course, but at the same time, it's like, look, if we can just rotate anyone we want in our teams at any point for any reason, even if they're not registered, then what are we really doing here, you know?
Well, my personal assumption is I think Gaishu was casting that previous game with GGWP versus 07, and maybe his hype level just, you know, hit 9,000, and his hype meter just cracked right off, so maybe he was like, I gotta do this. I gotta play. I want to play. Come on, put me in, coach. And but that's just, it's not in the cards. GGWP did it all by themselves, and Gaishu's not going to be allowed in on this go. Looks like a whole bunch of people saying ready, 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 ready in the chat. So I'm assuming this match is going to kick off anytime now. What do you think the odds are that Star brings 4 destroyers? Do you think it's good?
I think all signs point to yes. I'm excited for it, man. I'm really... Star has impressed me a lot, and needless to say, GGWP, I think, has just impressed everybody by defeating 07. So, I mean, let's fucking see it. I want to see the best Star can throw at GGWP, and I want to see how they deal with it. So, I've been really impressed with Star so far this series. I think they did a good job in that match as well. They reacted well. They played all. Server overload. Server overloaded there, so it's going to be a minute here as they're going to continue to try and start the game. But that's cute. One moment, please. So, yeah, the reality is that, well, there we go. Okay. Game starting.
It's happening.
All right. Well, so in this case, yeah, I'm sorry. Again, nothing against Gaishu, but the teams need to be somewhat static. Otherwise, I think it opens the door to an enormous amount of potential tomfoolery and abuse. Yes, I said tomfoolery. What? Come at me, Zoomers. It's a millennial term. Actually, it's probably a boomer term, but I'm a millennial. So, meow, meow, meow.
What malarkey is this?
Malarkey. Good lord. All right, let's get ready for this here.
You got Star or you got GGWP? Which one you gonna pick?
I'm closer to red. Who's red? Red is Star, so we're going to go ahead and go. Star is, yes, Star, Montana, Yamato, Salem, Venezia, Moskva, Gearing, Marso, Shimakaze. It's the 4 DD strat that they implemented on this game, on this match before. I'm really looking forward to this. It's a powerful strat. They executed it exceptionally well. I'm excited to see how GGWP deals with it, as Gearing goes A, Gearing goes B, Shimakaze goes C, Marso also going to A, likely to try and catch whatever they find in A.
And over on GGWP side, we've got a Shikishima, once again with the Kremlin, the bow tanking a Mostner. We've got a Worcester, double Salem, and a Venezia. They're going to go with the 3 destroyer setup, a Gearing, Kleber, Grozovoy, but in a bit of a surprise, the 4 destroyers on the other side are looking to contest all 3 caps. However, we have a Grozovoy going to B, followed by Ducky Shot in the Salem, a Kleber lurching forward looking to go to A, with a Gearing falling behind, probably to be able to smoke this Worcester. Only a Shikishima and a Venezia going to Charlie, and since there's a Shimakaze on the other side going to Charlie, then, well, there's no way in hell they hold that. Looks like that Shikishima and Venezia are purely to delay whatever ends up being in Charlie and stop it from wrapping to B, while their overman side of AB dominates the 2 caps.
Yeah, so what's we're going to see here is the Grozovoy of a Matsukaze, who's apparently, I remember last COTS, my chat said they wanted a Matsukaze to have their babies. Matsukaze is going to be coming up against this Gearing here at Meta Class. However, I think what we're going to see here is that Ducky Shot and a Matsukaze are keeping very close together to make sure that if they run into something stealthier than the Graz, like a Gearing, Ducky will be there to radar and push out that Gearing. As FaZe's Kleber now coming in to try and take a quick cap off of the A cap, but it's not going to happen. Here's the big deal. Shimakaze of Star gonna solo cap C without contention, I believe. Oh, Ducky taking just a little tiny bit there. This is very interesting. So I don't know if I agree, but look at this. GGWP making an enormous push around the A side. Let's see if Star gives them the ground they need in order to actually make this effective, because it could entirely be that the Shimakaze, Yamato, Venezia, and then possibly Gearing of Star can completely swamp them over at C.
This is absolutely a shock over here. So the Shimakaze going to get Charlie. The Venezia Shiki just can't stop that. Bravo is contested. There's a Salem over in Ducky Shot, so I don't imagine Nento Kloss is going to be able to hold that for any long period of time, and in fact is already being blocked by the Graz. But if we look at Alpha, the Marso Gearing combo of X100 and Captain JM are able to overwhelm and drive off the Kleber of FaZe. The Gearing of Yoshi is going wide with Sage Liev in the Worcester, will be able to push forward, have radar pressure through smoke and whatnot, although it does look like the Worcester's actually stopped behind the far island and is just chucking at range at Fyoda's Moskva. If they're going to slowly siege down the Moskva, which it does look like they'll do, probably with the Salem Worcester, as well as maybe even some shots with the Kremlin, that's going to delay them for a while those points from Alpha and Charlie tick up. As long as Bravo is held in stasis, this is going to be points going over to Star for as long as the Moskva of Fiota somehow doesn't go down. If the gearing of X100 wanted to draw a smoke line, they could keep him safe, but that's going to be down to X100 and what positioning he's trying to do. As no, he's reversing to respot Phasey so that the Moskva of Fiota can drive him off.
Yeah, so the main thing here, if GGWP's strategy of hard push at A is going to pay off, which they need it to, given how many resources they've put in over here, they need to get the Moskva of Fiota out of there. That's why the Salem is here. That's why the Worcester is here, to dump fire onto this Moskva and get him to back up, hopefully into either torpedoes from the Graz, which that's what I believe Amatsukaze's doing there, or AP gunfire from the Salem. But that's not looking likely now, as the Yamato and Venezia are in a prime position to prevent that from actually happening. I see Mr. Conway in chat there. Hello, Mr. Conway. So down here at the southwest corner, I'm getting my directions mixed up. This is where an important battle is going to be going on. Gearing of Yoshi going to dodge those torpedoes from the Marceau, but this is where it has to be. This is where GGWP has to win this if their strategy is to take effect. Marceau versus Gearing, that's tough. That's a really tough thing. And the Marceau, maybe he was chucking his torpedoes at these cruisers in the smoke. I think he very well might have been. However, Fiota definitely going down here shortly. I'm concerned that he decided to come forward knowing these flamethrowers were still here, and Fiota definitely going down here shortly.
Yeah, I feel like he was just too concerned about backing up, but frankly, he had a lot of island left, so no Graz torps, no real shots from long range. Although I guess there's a dip in the middle of the island, and maybe he was just absolutely concerned about what the island sheep could do to him. However, the guns of the Worcester and the Kleber and all the other stuff over there do actually go ahead and drop him. Real question comes down, does the Venezia have RPF? Does Battleship Princess know that the Shimakaze of Captain Benevolent Fair has left Charlie? Holy oof! That's a hell of a hit, followed up by gunfire from a Yamato. That is a down Grozovoy. Ducky Shot is now exposed as the Yamato. Does he have angles? No, he doesn't. Ducky Shot, but Ducky is not in the cap. He might be able to threaten with radar, but Neto Kloss is going to be able to easily come in here and take Bravo from him. If the Salem wants to contest, he's going to have to back up into the guns of a Yamato, while the torps from a Shimakaze are going to be coming right in there, making it so that he can't even move if he does commit. Yeah. Currently, the Gearing is taking it. The Salem, is he going to take the bait? We don't know, but Alpha is continuing to be pummeled by a Salem and a Worcester. Now having left the smoke cloud of the Gearing as Yoshi spots wide, they're trying to work on a Salem that's just not going to take, and there are some Gearing torps, but I don't think those are going to connect. Alpha still in the commanding point of Star, while Charlie is in Star's favor, and soon Bravo will be in Star's favor. GGWP down by over 220 points. Wow, GGWP definitely on the back foot here, and Alpha is not breaking.
So here's an important thing, and you as the last cap just turned blood red in favor of Star. This is where the destroyers of Clan Star, the Star destroyers that we've been talking about all day and we've been praising all day, this is where they're coming into full effect. The Shimakaze of Benevolent Fair now knowing, oh, this Ducky Shot takes 30 grand out of the face from Kempfer's Yamato. The destroyers are so skilled in this clan of knowing exactly where to be going and where to be moving to make best use of their torpedoes. They completely surprised Amatsukaze's boat in the center there. 2 torpedoes into the side, followed up by shells from the Yamato. He's dead in nearly one go. What this did was allows them to more quickly wrap up the seaside, which now it's going to be Venezia Shikishima walking right in front of Benevolent Fair's Shimakaze. This is just disaster for GGWP if they're not careful, completely underestimating how this was going to go. This is the A side was the push side for GGWP. This is where they committed their resources. They committed the full strat of smoked up Salem and Worcester to try and push these guys out. They did get the Moskva, but Star has held them and kept them honest to such a degree that it allowed Star's other resources out in the distance to completely annihilate the anchor that they had on B. It's just a matter of time now before they find a way to get Ducky Shot out of there. It's likely going to be Camphor here moving up to force Ducky out.
Well, currently Ducky is undetected, and I don't see a means to detect him, as the Shimakaze of Captain Benevolent did move, probably trying to get some angles on the Shikishima, but with the Venezia of Battleship Princess moving closer and closer to Bravo, Neto class cannot afford to be radared, hydroed, spotted, or whatever, and sure enough, Bravo falls to GGWP. That being said, while they do actually win 8 minutes and 6 seconds from now, as opposed to 8:39 over on Star's side, there are still plays and possibilities. As soon as Ducky is spotted, and only a Kleber coming for moral support with no smoke, that Yamato guns may drop Ducky like a hammer. If he ends up pulling out, he is going to be spotted by a gearing and potentially shot from the Montana of floors in the south. We do see GGWP pushing A. The Salem of Dire taking the blows, taking the damage, but he's taken the island position now, and he has his cover. The Wooster continuing to dump fire into Lord Lauren, who is running for his life. The Salem down to 300, and down he goes. A has fallen under the immediate approach of GGWP. It was 5 ships to 5, now 4 ships to 4, as they've rotated the Kleber mid to try to take even further dominance. Netoclass smoking in front of a Venezia Kleber. What happens when this Salem detects him? How long does he live?
Yeah, it's going to be very spicy to see here. The Shikishima of the Island Sheep getting just absolutely shellacked here. He's going to be completely donezo when these Shimakaze torps just steal his lunch money, and down he goes. The Shimakaze of Benevolent Fair now free to roam about the north, as the Venezia of Battleship Princess Raulia is I want to say walking right into a trap, as the Yamato of Camphor here. He's so strong in this position. He keeps Ducky behind that island. He smacks the crap out of Battleship Princess Raulia if he tries to come out anywhere, as Netoclass can see him.
Bogsy, Stars Marceau. You see where his bow is pointed? It looks like he's got a mission, and it looks like that mission's going to be coming up real soon. Do you think he's going to be able to take this one out?
I think he's pulling out his Nintendo gun right now, and I think he's about to go clack, 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 and score himself some ducks. Let's see if the dog comes out and laughs, because there's a duck that's about to get roasted here in a second. Why is he slowing down? It looks like he's slowing down. Nope, here he goes. Is anyone going to see him?
He is committing to the YOLO. Ducky's got his guns pointed absolutely the wrong way. He can't even track this thing. Torps are out. 1, 2, 3, bonkety bonk. He is down. Suddenly the Marceau is charging a Venezia and a Kleber, but he has taken out the Salem. That's a huge amount of health and radar that's now gone against a gearing of Netoclass, who granted he already used his smoke, but he'll eventually have another one as the gearing starts to light into the Kleber of Fazy. This Marceau is not long for the world, unfortunately, but he took out his intended target, and having that trade opens up Bravo in a way that it was not available before. Now we've got a Kleber Venezia running away from the Shimakaze of Captain Benevolent Fair. How do they spot him? The answer, they don't. The gearing of Netoclass is sieging B and will be able to back in and take it any time now as the Venezia Kleber run. Right now, GGWP has all of its basket, or all of its apples, or whatever in the cart that is Alpha, charging through trying to find kills, but the gearing of X100 dropping a smoke cloud and running. Yoshi 44 trying to run down the gearing, but gearing v gearing, I don't know if he's going to be able to make that lurch. They've just got too much health. I think Star has a commanding lead of 180 points, and pretty soon once they get B, this is going to be extremely tough to claw back for GGWP.
It is. Sorry, I got to apologize to everybody. I had my colors and score wrong. So GGWP is up 1-0 in this match, not the other way around. However, Star, look at this beautiful horseshoe that Star is beginning to form around GGWP now that they are still stuck in A. They don't have time to all be dilly-dallying down in the south as they were. That was their hard push, and Star did a beautiful job of delaying them there as long as possible. Yes, they did lose Lord Laurent, and they did lose a few other ships down there. That was enough time to allow, like we predicted, the Shimakaze of Benevolent Fair and the Yamato of Camphor to come in and just start dunking on people, and that's exactly what happened. The wiping out the Salem of Ducky Shot there in the center was a great trade by the Mospa, because it now puts these guys in a very awkward position where Fazy's Kleber has to sort of move and move and move, and finally The Star Destroyers, man, the Star Destroyers. This is gonna be my meme for COTS 12. It's gonna be the Imperial March and the Star Destroyers, because these guys are just putting up absolute numbers this tournament.
GGWP looking like the rebels coming out of nowhere and upsetting the favorites of the Empire that is 07, and then the true Empire shows up with Star Destroyers and starts to blap ship after ship, torp after torp, take after take. GGWP solidly on the back foot as it's down 300 points and down 1 cap to 2. They're gonna have to get kill after kill, but they're not finding them. Siege Liev is trying to chuck it at Montana that's almost 20 kilometers away. He's chasing open water, hoping for something. Dyer, 18,000 health, healing now as he's also open watering against a Montana in the crossfire between a Montana and a Yamato. That is how desperate this is. The Salem, big shells coming in, down to 14, still kind of healing, but the Kempfer's shots, they've been hitting over and over, and once again, torpedo soup. If you look at the Kremlin, he juked the Shimmatorps only to juke directly into 1 and 2 torps over from the gearing. It's not going to be enough to kill him, but torp after torp, the Star Destroyers continue to whittle down the resistance of GGWP.
Absolutely. I mean, just extraordinary destroyer play from Star. These guys are so good at lining up their torps, knowing exactly where they need to be. The biggest difference here is that it's only a 1 ship difference. 25 seconds left as current points stand, unless Dyer goes down here, which it looks like he is. 3 destroyers left on the board for Star. This is such a big deal. It looks like Dyer's about to go down here. That's going to go ahead and give Star the win in 10 seconds. If Dyer doesn't go down first, he does. That's it. Star getting onto the board. Very nicely done. This is 1-1 in this match. Going to game 3, gents.
It was definitely looking dire for the Salem that was open water, caught between a battleship and another battleship, and God knows how many DDs that probably wanted him dead as well, but they had to take the chance. They just couldn't break A fast enough. They got the Moskva. They got the Moskva very, very early, and they started to move forward, but what was one of those limiting factors? They had a gearing. The gearing smoke lasts 2.5 minutes and then another 30 seconds to cool down, and they decided, we're going to slow and steady push this. We're going to do this as an attrition play. And that's exactly what happened. But when you're waiting 3 minutes for a smoke, 3 minutes for the next smoke, 3 minutes for the third, how in the hell do you push? The Pan-Asian DD line, if they'd been using different smokes, maybe would go for 1.5 minutes, spend a 20-second cooldown, go for another 1.5 minutes, push, 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 wrap right through A and drive them off. As it was, the timing just took so long, and giving up the C cap, that was just there was such a source of points that could never, ever be reclaimed. No detection, no destroyer, no nothing. When B fell, the deal was sealed.
Ref, I have confirmation from Paleon that Gaishu can play. What?
I don't know.
So we can just swap in anyone we want now?
I mean, Gaishu is Gaishu. He defies the laws of gravity and sanity. Have you seen some of the comps that man came up with?
I don't understand. Is that... I'm going to just say this right now. I think this is a very, very slippery slope that's happening.
I don't know. Maybe it's one of those rules that it just doesn't come up often enough that it hasn't been ruled on. And I mean, there are going to be situations where you're going to be hit with something new, COTS after COTS, time after time, and I mean, you come up with a new hard and fast rule. I think it was the last COTS that we were in where we saw PN. They had a ref problem where somebody got to see their lineup, right? And that happened twice. Well, I think a ruling got put in place after that to kind of lock that down. There was a technical issue that happened earlier this COTS, and I believe a ruling has been put in place to kind of lock that down. And, well, now we've got, I guess, an unexpected sub, and maybe that's something that just, it wasn't enumerated in the rules, but perhaps going forward it may be. If Gaishu is no longer casting, then I suppose he's available to play. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the rules on this. I just cast the ships on the field and try to make bad jokes. That's pretty much the extent of how deep I go with this, because I'm a carrier player, and carriers don't exist in King of the Seas, so I just get to fly around in my little news chopper and kind of report on what's going on.
Yeah, so the guys in Star are now saying, are you kidding me? I'm going to be honest. I don't care if this is in the rules. I think this is in very poor form.
I think this is surprisingly out of nowhere, and I don't know. I'm not a ref, so I just call the stuffs. But I'm gonna have to be honest. Star looking across the aisle and seeing one of the best players in the game, if not the world. I mean, that's a hell of a pickup out of nowhere. Okay, Gaishu has decided to step out. He is going ahead and not going to step onto the team. So we're going to see another game with the lineup that played against 07, with the lineup that has played against Star coming up until now. This was extremely last minute, so you know, good on Gaishu for not pushing the issue. At least from a spectator's view, it looks to be more, I mean, straightforward and basic, I would say.
Yeah, sorry. I realize that I do this a lot where, like, I tend to stick my nose in other people's effing business, but, like, I gotta be honest. There's a certain amount of sportsmanship that, like, needs to be maintained for people to feel like a tournament has, that people put lots of, like, effort and thought and care into. It needs to maintain a certain level of integrity. Otherwise, people feel like it's just a joke. And if you can just at any point, if any team can just be like, hey, we want to take one of the best players in North America, yeah, you're welcome, Gaishu, and just arbitrarily bring him in for any reason because, hey, it's not against the rules. Why do we even have teams? Like, I don't understand. I'm just going to say it. I think that should be looked at. At least kudos to GGWP and Sage for saying, okay, fine, we won't play him. I don't think that's right.
Yeah, I mean, well, if we can look at, if we try to look at the positive of this situation, this may not have been an issue until it just became an issue, which means this is a chance for the rules to be locked down even better so that everybody's going to be playing on a solid footing. As far as, and perhaps you can correct me if I'm wrong on this, I think you were saying that the average team has the 9 players main roster and then they have 3 subs, so that's what you sign and you put available for a team. Is that correct? Is that standard?
Well, yeah, when you're registering, you need to register a team of 12, and I know that that's not like, it's not like set in stone, obviously, because like we said with my team TNG last weekend, there was an issue where people couldn't connect, so they said, can you get subs? And they were like, well, we can try. And you know, if you could find subs because that, but at the same time, what if you just are like, well, fine, I'll just go get the best people I can possibly find and say, hey, we need you to help us because we feel like we're getting dicked. Like, come help out the little guy. It's just a weird thing. I think that you just shouldn't. You need to sort of have a line of here are our substitutes. I guess that's just me, but I don't know. Yeah, maybe I'm marking out for Gaishu a little too much because I honestly do. I'm always very impressed by what he's able to do. But like, to me, it's sort of like you're playing college basketball or something like that, and they're like, "Oh, hey, by the way, we just happen to have our friend Shaquille O'Neal stop by." You know, it's like he's not playing for anyone else. Hop on in, you know. I think there's something wrong with that. So, yeah. Anyway, no one wants an asterisk. Anyway. Do you want ants? Anyway.
Okay, so,
done being the police, I guess.
All right, so going to game 3, doing some stuff. Warrior's Path is going to be coming up, which I think we saw on the other map. There's a whole bunch of islands over on that A cap, so it's kind of attrition-y, kind of lockdown, kind of how are you going to push this sort of thing. And if I recall, I think it was Star that went wide, and I believe they had a Z. Did they have the Z52 on this map? They might have had the Z52 on this map, but I don't know if it went their favor. I think the Z52 got clocked and they weren't able to continue with it. But we did see that if we take multiple destroyers, Star may look to pressure Alpha from multiple angles. Bravo is going to be a whole bunch of just staring contest, cap contest, and the question comes down to, what do you do about Charlie? Do you send assets on the 10 line so that they can siege the positions on those big islands where usually there's some kind of Moskva, Stalin, Des Moines, or whatever? Because if you do, well, when you take C, how do you get your ships back into the match in the next 5 to 8 minutes? Because they're all the way on the 10 line, especially if the enemy team has committed its resources to A. B is so much more approachable that it can kind of be taken any way that you want to go. It just comes down to how you figure out that foothold. I'm expecting Star to bring a bunch of destroyers. What do you think GGWP is going to do?
Sorry, I'm still in a little bit of a state of shock. What do I think they're going to do? I have a feeling that GGWP is going to have a more solid time on this map than they did on Craftstone Alpha. Like you and I predicted, Star really has done exceptionally well when they have lots of space and they have 4 destroyers. They've really got that cross torp action down, man. They communicate well, they time things well, they coordinate well. They're just great, and it's so great to see because you just don't usually see destroyers being used that way. So check IP. What? Who? Sorry, I think he's joking.
Okay. Probably. I don't know.
He's just joking. So I think that this. I think the real question here for Star is whether or not on Warrior's Path they can, they can pick things up and make sure that they don't let GGWP run away with positioning this time. If they bring 4 destroyers, which I privately hope they do, they got to make most effective use of them. So looks like they're all ready to go. So
yeah, we have 8 spectators on this one, so a whole bunch of different people saying ready, 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 go ahead, ready, ready. Although Lord Zath has just entered the chat, so he might actually be looking for looks like we might have a Lord Zath and a Raptor hopping in, because if I recall correctly, 07 and GGWP ran long, so a bunch of those other games that happened in round 2 got started a little bit earlier than the ones that we're watching now. So it's absolutely possible that some of those other spectators have decided like, oh man, we got to get something to do, and looks like Lord Zath was able to squeak in right before the door closes, and I'm assuming Raptor is probably on the way.
Yep, Raptor's popping in.
Okay, well, a whole bunch of people are ready, but as they say in the military, it's a good time to hurry up and wait, and that's exactly what we're doing. So, GGWP is doing the thing, Star's doing the thing. Currently, we're 1-1. Let's see, so we've got Warrior's Path. What are the other ones after this? Because even whichever team wins this, it's still going to go to a game 4. After this, we've got Northern Waters.
Yeah.
Now, GGWP, I think, is probably going to have the dominant cruiser play, because we've seen such amazing destroyer play out of Star that I would have to assume that if in Northern Waters, if they can get some good cruiser positions in there, they could just lock down the map. So let's have to see, because if GGWP takes this game, that might be all she wrote. Star's really got to step up here to make this one happen.
Agreed. Now, I have a prediction. My prediction is going to be that obviously it's going to go to game 4 no matter what. But if GGWP pulls off a win on this one, I have a feeling that Star could do, if it goes to game 5, I think Star is going to take it. That's if it goes to game 5, because I think that, again, Star is going to do extraordinarily well, as they have historically, on the wide open diagonal maps. But we'll get back to that in a minute here. I'm going to go ahead and start us off with Star's lineup. Star going to go ahead and bring, Star is red, correct? Yeah, okay. Star going to go ahead and bring Montana, Yamato, Salem, Goliath, Venezia, back to 4 DDs, Gearing, Marso, Z52, Shimikaze. We did see them do this last time. I believe it's the same lineup as it was on Warrior's Path before. I don't think they won that match against XPN. I can't fully remember.
No, I don't think they did. I think the Z fell a little too early over at the Alpha Cap, and then they just didn't have the pressure. Meanwhile, over on the other side, GGWP is bringing the Shikishima and Kremlin, both armored, and the Kremlin with that great nose tanking ability to just kind of go in somewhere and make it happen. We've got a Worcester, a Venezia, a Moskva, and that's where the cruisers run out, because GGWP is also bringing the 4DD comp. They've got a Daring, Kleber, and a Yu Yang. One has to wonder, is it a smoke Yu Yang, or is it a radar Yu Yang? Well, it does look like that Yu Yang is closely escorted by the Venezia, and if Dyer is able to spot something for the Venezia to clap it, that could be all she wrote for a DD.
I'm going to go ahead and say I think that Dyer's Yu Yang is going to be a radar Yu Yang, specifically so that he can do that. He can radar for the Venezia. But what I don't quite understand about that is, excuse me, got a little burpy there for a second. Gross. Is that the Venezia has to be careful, because the Venezia has, I believe, I haven't played the Venezia in so long. I can't remember whether it's 8, 9, or 11 kilometer smoke detection range. Do you recall?
I don't remember. Well, actually, think it's like 10.5. I think the one just before it comes out at like 9.9, and I believe the Venezia is like slightly above that, so it's like a 10.5, something like that. I don't think it's out to 11.12.
So yeah, basically what he's got to do is he's got to be so careful to make sure that even if Dyer radars Klaus for him, the Venezia takes a shot, even from smoke, he's got to be careful that he's not within that smoke firing penalty range, or he can get clapped back the same way. So starting off here, GGWP going to go ahead and take the fight to X100 right here in the middle. Amatsukaze and FaZe aggressively coming in here. However, I don't think they're going to get any joy off of X100, as he's got lots and lots of backup. I don't know quite why the two of them are diving the island like this when one would have sufficed. Probably they need to sort of make something happen here, or else it's a little too late here. So
does look like Amatsukaze is within that 3 kilometer hydro, and now is within proximity detection. Amatsukaze is spotted to the Marceau of X100. Shells coming in, some dancing going on with X100 as he's locked in the hydro of Amatsukaze. FaZe and the Kleber looking to potentially make some moves, but not ready to commit. The daring of Amatsukaze has not spotted Lord Lauren, who is only 8 kilometers away. If the FaZe or Amatsukaze try to push this, and they're about to, Amatsukaze is moving forward. That's going to enter into the guns of the Salem. Those are some big ass 203s with a really fast cycling rate versus a Marceau with some saturation stuff. Marceau of X100 taking tons and tons and tons and tons of damage, all the way down to 4,000. He drops some torps as Amatsukaze gets dunked by the Salem of Lord Lauren. X100 still able to run 2,100 health and running and not spotted. That's going to be, that's absolutely going to be a huge take, as one of the 4 destroyers on GGWP goes down. Amatsukaze does not make it. Lord Lauren swinging in, looking to position aggressively on Bravo, as now Star knows that's only a Kleber in Bravo and nothing else. They can probably see most of what else is going on, and nobody else was there to help with that DD. So what happens if they find the resources to make that Salem get really aggressive?
Yeah, Kleber getting chunked here on the way out for his troubles as well. Here's the other really important thing to mention about what happened there. Who died was the Daring. The Daring is the ship that technically one of its strengths as a DD, and one of its somewhat unique strengths, as not many can do this, is that it has a heal. It has decent HP pool, and it has a heal. That heal meant absolutely nothing, because it died so fast that it didn't get a chance to really make use of that extra HP that it gets to play with. The Kleber and the Marceau both have the damage saturation mechanic, which means they get to play with that HP no matter what. But the Daring's greatest strength, in terms of its survivability mechanic, is completely nullified by getting obliterated like that. I don't know if that's going to be decisive here, as the ACAP, when it goes ahead and gets taken by Star pretty decisively, it's 3v4 over there. How many of these torpedoes are going to connect? It's possible none will, but just the torpedo play by Star has just absolutely astounded me today. These guys have done so well at making sure that torpedoes are in the right place, keeping everyone honest at all times. I've just really been astounded by it.
Wooster trying to shoot over the island to catch X100, not able to find it, as it looks like GGWP has no time to waste pushing Charlie with the Kremlin, the Wooster, the Gearing, but not the Moskva. The Moskva has actually turned right back around and decided to head over to Bravo, probably assuming, I would have thought correctly, that Lord Lauren would be pressing Bree, but instead Lord Lauren is not. He does seem to be finishing his turn and might be starting to move now. The Kleber of Flazy cannot be underestimated, however. If it comes down to an 18,000 health Kleber versus a Salem, if the Kleber turns on the Afterburner and runs down that Salem, he could be eating a whole bunch of torpedo death. So I think the Salem's going to have to play back as much as he might want to commit. But we do see Nesto Klaus in the Z-52 heading over to Bravo. He's going to have all kinds of information with a Hydro that never, ever ends. With the backup of a Salem, I believe that means Star is going to dominantly take Bravo as the Moskva of Ducky Shot slowly trundles into position to assist the Kleber in maybe trying to do a contest. I don't see that happening within a minute, which means I assume Bravo's going to fall. Big questions come down. Where is GGWP going to be able to push forward? And are they going to make it impactful as Star simply looks to kite? Once they take B, that's 2 caps to 1. That's not in GGWP's favor. Star up by 40 points.
I'm just being told by chat that this was actually a match that Star won versus XPN. They won on the timer. They won on the timer as was. Sorry, wanted to thank the chat for helping us out with that.
Yes, that's right. That was a good match.
So what's happening here now is the Kremlin has decided to aggressively push in, anchor himself in C, and say, "You can't kill me, haha." But the whole reason he's doing that and is attracting an enormous amount of fire is specifically to allow the Gearing of Yoshi and the Wooster of Sageliv to push up, smoke up the Wooster so he can start doing whatever he wants. However, there's a problem, and that problem is that what's Sage going to be shooting right now? The Salem? The Goliath? The Yamato? Who cares?
Yeah,
those things can shrug off HE damage and fire with no problem. All the while, they're just losing the Kremlin because, again, it's 5v3. They just pushed a 5v3 match. Maybe they didn't know that, but I think they just sacrificed their Kremlin to secure a cap they already had. The problem is now, Kleber and Z-52 going to spar each other over the B cap, but at this point, I mean, Star just being very methodical, taking down ship after ship after ship, and then saying, "We don't need to take the caps yet. We'll just kill your ship, and then we'll come take whatever we want when it's all dead."
Yeah, I've got to echo that. Sageliv in the Wooster, who cares what he's shooting at? He's not a threat to a Yamato out there. He's not a threat to a Salem or a Goliath. There's nothing that's going to happen off of this. The aggressive play that could have happened might be different if the Wooster was able to push out an additional 5, 10, 11 kilometers, but that Gearing smoke's going to last 2.5 minutes and then have to be reapplied. He does not get to move. Instead, the Wooster got to watch helplessly as his Kremlin goes down as he sits broadside to a lot of Shimakaze torps. Looks like Sage has probably seen them. Is he moving? He might catch 1, he might catch 2, he might catch 3. That's going to be 1. Sure. Definitely 2. Another one coming in. I don't think that's a kill, but it's going to be damn close. The Wooster's combat ineffective as the Gearing is going to bail, as again the torpedoes from Star just on point. Z-52 getting dunked over Neto is backing off of Bravo, but now that the Kremlin is down, the Wooster's in retreat and Yoshi is running with him. Well, Star can just move up and take everything. A's got to fall, and it looks like GGWP's putting assets there. They're going to try to make it happen, and will they be able to take the cap? They're still down 70 points, but if they take A, that's going to give them a lot of the way back into this fight, especially if they can somehow secure some kills.
Yeah, A has been somewhat forgotten here as the action has mainly revolved around B and C. However, GGWP now making their way back into A. They are outnumbered here. It's 2v3. They do have some backup from the Shikishima, but I doubt that's going to be of an enormous amount of use yet. At this point, Star, if you look at things, Star is yet to lose a ship. They're up 2 ships. They're up a short amount of points. However, they have no caps. What I'm seeing here, as I think the Venezia, yes, taking a deep water torpedo, oof, that's half his HP gone between that and the Shikishima. What's happening now is that Star is being very careful to not lose any ships. However, they will need to regroup. They will need to figure out a way to push these ships out. Based on what we've seen just today alone, I think that's going to happen. I really do feel as though they're getting into position now. You can already see the Gearing of Nascimento, who did get spotted. He's going to get slapped. not as much as we would have thought from a Venezia. He's going to work his way out to the 1 line. He's going to drop torps on Dyer. He's going to drop torps on Battleship Princess Raulia's Venezia. He's going to just start to force them to play by their rules and hopefully get a hit from the Venezia or the Montana. However, what really needs to happen over here, and they should have a 1-ship advantage, is they got to find a way to get into B, get into C.
Yeah, so as we're watching, 3 caps is a lot of caps. Suddenly going from 40 points in the good to being 100 points in the bad. How in the hell do they start to stop this bleeding? Shimikaze of Captain Benevolent Fairs going to be topping into C, and I would assume immediately radared by Sage Liev, who is smoked by his gearing of Yoshi 44. Once that radar goes down, in approximately 40 seconds, they might be able to recontest Charlie. But 40 seconds is a long time, and holy crap, they're up by 150 points already. Over at Alpha, there's a Yang Venezia. Captain JM is looking to make moves. He doesn't have to worry about the torps from Dyer, even though they're going to sail directly underneath his ship. But how does he get there? The Montana moving up, the Venezia running away, and Stars has got to get on caps. Don't know how it's going to happen. Don't care. It has to happen soon because now they're 200 points down. They don't have much time. 1 minute and 58 seconds before they've got to get ship in cap or they lose.
Yes, indeed. So this is the crucial moment, just like you pointed out. Stars sitting on about a 60,000 HP difference. They're up 60,000 HP. They're now down over 200 points. The points are racking up real fast when 3 caps are in play. They need to do something here. They have an enormous advantage. They need to kill this Wooster. Looks like they are trying really hard to here. The Goliath doing his job, taking a lot of HE fire from 2 ships. He has that super heal, but they have to do it. They have stepped on A. They have stepped on C. Looks like A is going to be a staring contest for now. This is what they have to do to avoid GGWP coming back and running away from this. I almost want to argue this is what they have to do to avoid throwing this, because at this point I really do feel like if Star were to lose this, it would be a throw. Goliath taking a lot of damage going down. Where's that super heal? He needs it. That's what Goliath do. I don't know that he's going to get it. Where is it?
Yeah, I
Super
think
heal.
Fioda's going to go down, but the Yamato is going to go in. Comfort's going to stamp his foot on Charlie, and Moskva and Wooster Radar be damned. That's going to be a kill of the Yu Yang over at Alpha, and that's going to be a cap conversion. Done. Done and dunked. The Montana shells coming in, clapping the Yu Yang. That's going to leave a Venezia with absolutely no spotting or support, pinched between a Montana that's kind of behind an island right now, and Gugito's Venezia, as well as the gearing of Captain JM. My guess, Battleship Princess knows he's got to make a play here. Doesn't want to make it, but has to make it. He's probably going to be going in, and in a minute from now, we're going to have to see if he's successful at clapping a gearing or getting something done before he gets taken out. Meanwhile, Yamato of Kempfer is in Charlie. Charlie is falling, and while resets are happening, Captain Benevolent Fair is going to be able to sneak that cap. Nope, ducky shot pops off some detection. Is he going to be able to get the reset? Captain Benevolent holding, radar going, the shot not in the air, but the reset goes and forces Captain Benevolent before the cap finishes. That's huge, but the Yamato is still holding it. Marceau of X100 taking huge amounts of damage. Don't know why, but he is. He's down. Okay. Z52 still holding the cap, but there's a Kleber that could just YOLO him at this point. Montana of Floors trying to see if he can catch some angles. Shells coming out for Battleship. Do not connect. Battleship Princess 13,000 against Gugito's Venezia. Shells out from Gugito. Down to 8, down to 4, down to 3. Oh, Venezia of Princess shoots over at Gigito, which means the gearing of Captain JM opening up with AP into the broadside of a Venezia. 2,000, 1,300. This dude's gonna go down, or the moves. Nope, that's gonna finish it. A is now locked in. Floors is moving around the Bravo side, trying to catch the side of FaZe, probably detected by Neto's Hydro. Shells come over, whiff over Neto. Not gonna be a kill there. The Yamato of Kempfert backed out of Charlie. These guys are down 250 points to GGWP. They might be confined to one section of the map, but they are still in it. 5 minutes to go. We saw this go all the way down to the 20-minute timer. Tick, tick, tick before one person won, then the other. Whoa, the Venezia gearing too far in Alpha. They're not going to be able to assist. How does this end?
I mean, this is awesome. This is awesome. Okay. So, little housekeeping here. We're currently 818 points for GGWP, 584 for Star. GGWP has lost 4 ships. Star has lost 2. Star now has complete permanent control over A. It's not going to change. All caps are currently contested. GGWP is gaining no more points at this point. There is 4 minutes 30 seconds left in the game. The score is currently 1-1. This could make this could change the things. Excuse me. This puts somebody up at 2. What's going on right now is that I think that Star pulled the Yamato out of C on purpose to not let him sit there and get farmed. I think they know they can let a little bit of steam go from C if they just focus on letting the ships from A come over to help get fire on B. Star has done an extraordinary job this series, in fact, this entire day, I would say, of knowing how and when to conservatively use their ships, to not push when they don't have the ship power. And down, oh my goodness, Netaclass taking a lot of damage in that smoke there. I don't know what caught him. Was it Ducky's radar?
No, the island sheep took a shot, a blind shot in the dark, and those gigantic Shikishima shells ripped chunks out of the Z-52. But while it might be switched cheese, it is not down. Meanwhile, Kempfer being chased from the cap by Torps as Yoshi 44 claims the center island. The aggressive Ducky shot play as well as the gearing just YOLOing it up. Shells coming out from the Shiki, not going to be able to connect and get the reset. Charlie's going to fall back into the hands of GGWP as Neto is being farmed. From radar from the Worcester, radar from the Moskva, shells coming in from downtown, and a Kleber that wants flesh. Big shots from a Yamato. Down goes FaZe. Down goes the Shikishima. That's a huge, huge swing. Now, Stars is now up by 30 points. They've got a single cap, but a single cap is all they need. 6 minutes 15 seconds is not going to exist in this game. 2 minutes 50 seconds remaining. Down goes Force. 2 caps to GGWP versus the 1 to Star. Star is down by 70 points. That's going to have to be a kill. 2 minutes is going to give maybe just enough points, but not if they're not contesting B and C. GGWP is out pointing Star right now. They have the lead by 80 points. They're gaining them faster. This is going to be at least 2 kills.
It's not going to happen at this point. Even a minute ago, when GGWP was still sitting on 2 caps to 1, they won in 2:30. The game is over in 2:10. It was a 15-second differential between what GGWP could win off of, and at this point, GGWP's got to get kills. It's got to be Netaclass. It's got to be JM Nascimento. It's got to be something. And I just don't think that GGWP has the amount of HP necessary to actually pull off a kill here. Maybe the Yamato, but even then, Ducky Shot's playing with fire by trying to get a kill on Kempfer. Kempfer has been putting excellent shots into cruisers all day. Down goes Sage Liev to the Venezia. This is it, folks. The writing is on the wall. Unless someone has a heart attack somewhere, this game is going to Star.
That's going to secure it. With the loss of that ship and the loss of Ducky Shot, the point swing is huge. 130 points over to Star. Some of it goes back as Kempfer does go down, but more crucially, Alpha and Bravo is in Star's command. 2 caps to 1, a single gearing on the field against the 5 remaining ships of Star. 40-point swing and nowhere for Yoshi to go except either behind that island or down to the bottom of the sea. 1 minute and 5 seconds remain in this game until Star is going to take game 3. They're gonna make it official, dang it, unless this gearing somehow solo warriors this, and good luck, bruh. So
you got it, Yoshi. Poop an egg and throw it at him.
You got it, man.
You got it, man. You got the power.
What if Yoshi took blind shots and happened to take the Z-52 and swung the point 60? I know it wouldn't be enough, but it would be so amazing. Well, Yoshi's breaking from cover. He's gonna go for the hero mode. He's fully into it. It's going for some kind of torp line. Shells in, down to 3,200. Shells over from the Z, but that's gonna finish it as the Salem takes it and secures game 3 for Star.
Wow. So, wow, man, some real astounding stuff today. I mean, just after getting just off the back of watching GGWP triumph over, I mean, tournament favorites 07, truly. Now Star taking it to them savagely. I mean, I honestly expected. Let's go back and look at the maps real quick because this is important. So what we've learned today about Star is that Star excels with the 4DD comp, and especially excels when there's plenty of space for the DDs to operate. So my thought was that they were going to lose, that GGWP was going to take Warrior's Path, simply because Warrior's Path, although it has plenty of space on it, you tend to be able to keep things relatively close together, and sort of limit the effectiveness of the torpedo destroyers because of all the close together islands. However, what I expected was GGWP to win North, Star to win Crash, which is what happened. I expected GGWP to take Warrior's Path, Star to take Northern Waters, and then Star to take Trap, because Trap, we know, just like Crash Zone Alpha, is exactly what Star excels at. So GGWP has to take Northern Waters to stay in this, and I gotta be honest, I think that Northern Waters favors Star because of the open spaces, the channels that allow for really effective torpedo play, which Star just effing rocks at. So,
well, I've got to say, before we can go forward, we must go back. Because if we remember, in the very, very, very beginning of Game 3, there was an extremely aggressive play coming out of GGWP. They came out with the Daring that had the Hydro that lit the DD that was taking the damage, and they were driving him off. But the Salem was not in position yet. The Salem was still in transition to that point on that island where all Salems and Moskvas go to die. And because of that, the Salem just cut his brakes. What? You're hydroed? Do you think they're going to come around the island and kill you? Maybe. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened. Bam, bam, bam. Down goes Daring. Bam! It rips into the Kleber. Oh, that was just such a huge opening play that did not go GGWP's way. Not only did it not go their way, that gave even more of a destroyer difference in the form of Star, which is just, that's absolutely not what you want to give them. They're gonna own in the destroyers. We've seen it time after time. Star Destroyer might have been a meme, but damn it, Bogsy, you hit it right on the head. It is exactly what Star excels at.
They really do. I'm honestly thrilled to see this. I'm thrilled to see it just because this is an unusual strategy. You don't usually see teams making such extraordinary use of torpedoes. We do have a little bit of an update. I don't want this to be a spoiler for anybody, but it's been well, actually, I should wait a little bit, because I know the King of the Seas tournament has been updated, but it might still be happening on stream, so I don't want to ruin anything. Yeah, we'll do an update after this match of the ones, that way we know we won't ruin anything. Sorry about that, guys. So, boy, so the fact that Star is so good at these torpedo soups, and connecting and positioning their players well, I'm just absolutely astounded. And I think on Northern Waters, they're going to continue to do very, very well. We saw last time they made a very good play. If everybody can, take a look at the Northern Waters map there down in the middle of the screen. So they managed to do a great job of securing the A-cap on the west side, and then also securing that island with a single cruiser, which is, it's a very, very strong position. And then rather than try to take that cruiser and wrap up the north side of the one line, they actually put it in the middle to help push out the destroyer that sits in the middle. That's oftentimes what happens on this map, is two destroyers will do the mating dance across from each other across that island in the B-cap in the center. Now, what I think we could see is Star bring that Z-52 again to hydro that, while a Marceau goes around the corner and shoots it full of holes. What do you think of the odds of seeing that?
Oh man, I'm still mentally recovering as far as the movement possibilities on this map. I do have to say, if nothing else, I do have to say, as much as you think Star's got the advantage on this, I know I might have said it on the last one, but I definitely feel it on Northern Waters. If GGWP is able to do what many, it seems almost like it's become a classical style, where they're able to get a Des Moines on that island all the way on the one line, I don't see how they're going to be dislodged. The classical styling, the way to hold and play, I really think GGWP is going to have that advantage. And I think GGWP's cruisers are still better, as in like more of a win condition, if you will, than as to what the Star's destroyers are. So if the GGWP is able to get a Moskva, or maybe almost like that double Salem thing that they did with Bravo in that first map, if they're able to get a significant presence that just cannot be broken, I don't see how the destroyers get away forward. That being said, they've got to bring the cruisers so that they have the overlapping radar to force that to happen. And in that last map, they just didn't have enough radar in the spots to make it happen. And then they didn't have the assets to follow up if they did. Now, if they're able to bring the radars, bring the assets, and then bring the kills off those, if they can turn consumable into kill, I believe they can claim the map space on this and push it to a game 5. But it comes down to the cruiser play, it comes down to the detection, and then it comes down to landing the shots after detecting.
Yep. So it's worth pointing out that this is the map. Northern Waters is the map that was the Game 5 map between GGWP and 07. So GGWP defeated 07 on this map, partly due to the fact they just had very well-placed heavy Soviet cruisers. Now, there's a very specific reason, I believe, why Star banned the Nevsky. Star banned the Nevsky because the Nevsky is the open water, high-velocity shell, fast-firing Russian cruiser that can actually maneuver. This is the one that can seriously contest torpedo destroyers, which clearly Star likes to use well. So, I mean, what I'm guessing here with the Nevsky, effectively banned, the Des Moines banned. Des Moines can be swapped out for a Salem, of course, with slightly worse radar. I have a feeling that we're going to see Moskvas and Stalingrads posted up and solidly. But I mean, if you recall, I don't know if it was on this map. I don't think it was GGWP. I think we were watching it was XPN, where they put two Stalingrads on the eastern side of this map and then just never really pushed them forward, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes. So the Ohio went forward to suicide, kind of like what a Kremlin would do, just using the health to bully a position, and then there was a Stalin that hung back that basically just took the old Ohio position. I don't remember how that match went. Unfortunately, my mind is like a bird, but yeah, so I do have to say, if it comes down to Stalin versus Moskva, if they're going to try to bring something to high velocity shell down a DD, I hope it's the Moskva, not the Stalin. The Stalin has received a radar nerf and will be receiving another radar nerf that makes its duration much shorter than what the Moskva brings. And we've shown Star's DDs are so important, every second of radar definitely is going to count. I think the Moskva would land more damage than a Stalin would.
Yeah, it's very possible. So we're going to go ahead and drop into battle here. Great to see that. I'm going to go ahead and start. I'm going to do GGWP's lineup this time. So GGWP is bringing a Shikishima, a Kremlin, those big guns like before, 2 Salem, 2 Moskva, Marceau, Grozovoy, Yu Yang again.
Interesting. And we've got over on the Star side, we've got the 4 DDs, because they're Star Destroyers, and that's how they roll. They've got an Ohio and a Yamato. The Yamato really pulling dividends over the many matches we've seen. A double Venezia Salem. I believe this is the first time they've pulled away from the Goliath or Salem comp. I don't think they've done a Venezia comp like this before. Definitely looking for some destroyer play, I would have to imagine. DD wise, they've got a Gearing, a Shimakaze, a Marceau, and yet again with the dominate position taking of the Z52.
And take a look at that. Arch Zero's Marceau. Arch Zero, very good Marceau player. He's going to go ahead and dive the B cap. Exactly what Star saw against XPN, I believe. This is what's going to happen. We're going to see Nascimento come right up here to this spot, just southeast of A. He's going to get shots on the Marceau of Arch Zero as he goes in, and then he's going to fade away. The Shimakaze of Captain Benevolent Fair going to make his way over here towards C and drop torpedoes off on the B cap to try and catch Arch as he's juking and whatnot. This is a pretty solid thing, as the Z52 is about to hydro Arch here once the Z gets into the cap and turned around. Gearing Salem Venezia going to go ahead and head towards the A cap from Star with an Ohio backing them up. So that's going to be a strong control push side there. Venezia, Shimakaze, Yamato for Star going to C.
So we're going to see something happen in Bravo in probably about 10 to 15 seconds. But for right now, I want to focus on GGWP and the 5 ships that are committed to Delta. Now, the Hydro has come out. Shots coming out from Captain JM's Marceau, looking to clear the island. We've got a Salem of Lord Lauren, who will obviously be taking shots soon. But first, it is Gigito in the Venezia taking some shots, but that island is awfully close. Nope, not going to be able to clear it. Arch Zero doing some dance moves, still able to pull this one out, as Neto Kloss kind of looks to move forward, rounding the island. Nope, does not take the bait. Shimakaze Yu Yang still moving toward Delta, and those ships of GGWP behind the behind Dyer's Yu Yang, probably not spotted yet. Only a Venezia and Yamato committed to D. This is a losing side. This is not something Star's going to be able to hold, especially once they know what they're against. But sure enough, as was called, Captain Benevolent chucks torps toward Bravo, and Arch Zero already bleeding 5,000 health. The Hydro's only been up for about a minute. He's got another minute and a half of this to deal with. How much health does Arch Zero lose?
I think where he is right now, he's actually got this pretty well under control. I think the ships, the Marceau, the Salem, I don't know that they're actually able to really hit him that hard here. I also think these torpedoes not going to connect. No, they were sort of expecting Arch to come out a little further, and I just don't think he's going to give him that. It's just not going to give it to him. So nicely done, Arch. Nicely placed there. You're going to see Netta Klaus there. He's trying so hard to find a way around. Okay, down to 17. Here we go. Star now taking a dominant position at A. They're just faced with the Grozovoy of Matsukaze. Not going to be able to really stop him there as the gearing of X100 goes ahead. Smokes up the Venezia and Salem. It's always funny to see a Venezia getting smoked, but hey, it works. So we'll check back there as these torpedoes go.
Z52 is making a move. He just popped smoke. He wants to go in on Arch Zero. Arch Zero knows it, but there are torpedoes in front. If Arch runs, he might encounter the torpedoes, but no, he buries himself in the island. He's not able to move. He's continuing to get showered on, down to 9.6. More shells coming in, down to 8, down to 5.9. If he backs up, he's going to back up directly into the guns of a Z52. He knows it. The shells are out. He's feeling it come from one way, the other way. Shells in the rear, pops on top, down to 3,800, pushing forward, nowhere to go, and a Hydro that never ever ends, down to 392 points. He's on fire. He is down. That's going to be a destroyer gone, and if we remember, GGWP brought 3, Star brought 4. That's going to be a 2 destroyer difference. Oof.
Big oof. That's amazing. I mean, it is the power of that, like, what, 3-minute Hydro coming in from the Z52, who is now going to chuckle his way into B and take it.
Ducky shot!
Oh, good lord.
Oh,
Ducky getting absolutely shellacked.
The Yamato right before the Venezia, down to 2,700 from 50. Oh! I'm sorry, guys. You take this. Those Venezia shells coming in. He's down to 15, and looks like Fioda's going to pop smoke. A little bit of a victory smoke after that. The Z52 is moving into Bravo. They're going to take it, and I'm sorry. I've just been talking all this match. Please, Bugsy, take it away.
Fine. This is... Oh, Sage getting white barred as well. About 40k. I think... I don't know. I don't know quite what happened here. GGWP, an absolutely excellent team. They just bested the former regional champs 07, international champs 07. Now they seem to be sort of getting caught with their pants down here. Arch Zero did the Lord's work, dodging all of that fire for that amount of time. Probably 3 to 4 minutes. Arch Zero was just constantly under fire. But this over here on the east side. This is the push side. This is the strong side for GGWP, and they're just getting chunked repeatedly, white bar after white bar, and now Ducky manages to dodge that one, but Star here pushing their own advantage over at the A side. Sorry if I got the numbers or the letters wrong there. Amatsukaze trying so hard to stay alive, but is he going to eat a torp? No, he's going to dodge that one as he also tries to dodge withering fire from multiple ships. Good lord, this is going to require some major shift in the temperature here if GGWP is going to come back and reestablish control here in this match.
Whoa. So, looking at it so early, Shimikaze, Venezia, Yamato, big hit into Fiona's Venezia as he's continuing to run. The Yamato of floors actually is not burying himself in the J10 corner looking to kind of block them from moving. Instead, he's just wrapping back to mid, assuming that A is going to be overtaken, which it does fall to Star. Two gigantic hits into Ducky Shot and then Sage Liev, but they're in Salem's. Des Moines, banned. Salem, not banned. And what does that mean? It means that Ducky Shot and Sage still have a foot in this fight, because those are massive, massive Salem heals are able to pull them back for the brink of death and keep them in it, while the Kremlin of Rue and Battleship Princess Ralia are actually going, well, the other way. I'm not exactly sure where they're going to go with that, but I feel like at this point they've just determined that they can't push into a Shima with Salem's that can't open water to radar, so they're going to be wrapping back, trying to bolster up maybe over Bravo or over Alpha. But at the moment, Star has no eyes for slamming on the brakes as they're just charging on in. Kempfer's Ohio moving forward, Salem of Lord Lauren doing the same. Graz is firing a few cheeky shots while the Shikishima just opens up with the gigantic guns bouncing off the side of a Yamato that fires back. Nothing happening at the moment except for two Salems trying to sneak out of the cap, guided by a smoke Yu Yang, allowing them to reposition and start to threaten B.
Hydro of Neto Klaus coming back out. They're gonna see Dyer. Yep, the Hydro of Neto Klaus, the Z52. Man, everyone sleeps on it. It has proven to be an absolutely fine-edged tool here in this match. And, I mean, for Star in general, it has done exceptionally well here. So we'll see if Dyer takes the worst for wear, getting clapped there, clapped here, bang, bang, double Venezia on him. I guess that's what their plan was with the double Venezia, was just hit the DDs and hit them hard anytime they show up. The two Salems from GGWP completely playing tandem here. I don't think that's what they want to be doing. If I'm being completely honest, they're so vulnerable to torpedoes if they're both just chilling here. And even then, you know, they're not able to project a lot of power without that. As, oh Lord, Star, the Nascimento making a full-on YOLO rush here on this Moskva. In he goes. He's dumping the torps a little early. Maybe he's getting nervous. Okay, there they go. He held off just long enough. He's getting 6 off. I don't know if that's enough to kill a Moskva. Not quite, but he opens up with AP, and down goes the Moskva. Nascimento now facing down the barrel of a Graz and a Shikishima, but I mean, he may yet live out of this. But if not, he completely removed the last thing that was preventing Star from having both control over the A cap and the B cap, as Nascimento does in fact go down for his troubles.
Yeah, Captain JM once again deciding to YOLO and succeeding in his mission, but not coming home to tell anyone else about it. Before it was a DM this time, or a Salem, this time it was a Moskva, and that's going to clean the radar off of A cap. Now there's a Grozavoy versus a Gearing, but I think the Gearing's got better detection, and the Gearing's got more friends. The Shikishima is going to start pushing up, looking for a desperate play as he pushes toward Alpha. The Salem in Ohio not pointed in the direction of the Shikishima, they're pointed in the direction of Salem's, which are being shot from all sides. The Dyer of Yu Yang, or Dyer's Yu Yang, is dodging. It's quite a dire situation. Yuck yuck, as Ducky Shot turns and bails to watch his friend go down. Shoot at him, not at me, please. Ducky Shot's gonna fly the coop, but ducks don't fly in this instance, as shells continue to find and drag him down to the water. Duck down to 700. Wasn't able to duck those shots either, and down he goes. That's going to be a massive exchange in ships. GGWP down to 4 ships remaining against 8 on the side of Star. 2 caps to 1. A Shikishima pushing for a YOLO play. Amatsuzukaze has been able to pull some crazy plays off, and sure enough, Amatsukaze is engaging the Gearing right now, hoping for just that.
The once again, the destroyers of Star, the Star Destroyers, as we've been affectionately calling them, just having their way with Rolk B's Kremlin. I gotta say, man, we've watched. This is the 8th match with Star that we've watched. Ninth match with Star that we've watched today. This is absolutely extraordinary DD play. These guys are so good at placing their torpedoes, coordinating their torpedoes. I'm just astounded. We haven't seen this sort of DD coordination with torpedoes outside of any other team that I can recall. I've been hearing whispers that this is what
torps.
Yeah, more torps.
Down goes the Matsukaze as he rounds the corner on the gearing, trying to make a play, but the gearing torps were there to clap him. X100 taking a kill. That's going to hold Alpha as the Shikishima deroutes, and Island Sheep is going to start getting shot by a whole bunch of unfriendly people as the Moskva of Battleship Princess does move forward. They held Charlie, didn't need to take it, but that is going to finish out the match. Holy crap! 3-1. Star is going to take it. Star Destroyer is absolutely detonating the planet underneath GGWP in Star Destroyer-ish fashion.
I'm impressed, man. That's all I can say. I am impressed.
I'm stunned. This is the okay, so this is my supposition. This is my thesis statement on what just happened. GGWP knows 07. GGWP comes in part from 07. They've played with them, they've trained with them, they talk with them on their Discord. They're well integrated, they know each other, they know how to fight. They don't know Star. Who came into this match expecting 07 to be derailed? Who came into this match expecting Star to derail those that derailed 07? Without being able to research Star, I don't know if they could have expected what happened with that Z-52 in the mid-cap. I don't know if they could have expected the dominant torpedo placement coming out of Star's destroyers over and over and over again. The one match that we saw GGWP take was the time where Star brought 3 destroyers. Every time they brought 4 destroyers, every single time they took it. Some of them were close, but they took it in the end. And if you didn't know that the Star Destroyers were on the opposite side of the field, how can you even begin to come up with enough guns to take down ships that are renowned in the Star Wars universe and now suddenly have shown up in the World of Warships universe to cut down seemingly the #1 chance for World of Warships is COTS number 12?
I don't know, man. I'm impressed. We actually have a little bit of new information. So I think I can say now, because a full match has passed, that between SCCC and Ayame, which is a team made up of players from Buenos Noches and also from PSV, Penetration at Sufficient Velocity, SCCC went 3-0 over Ayame. Between PN, Penetration Nation, and QQ7, QQ7 won 3-1 over Penetration Nation, and KSC versus Bonks is still going at 2-2. So what it means is that Star is going to be going up against SCCC next. SCCC is, historically speaking, a very, very strong competitor in North American COTS. They, I believe they went up against 07 in the semifinals of last season. I can't remember exactly. Maybe it was because it was 07 versus Gaishu's team in the finals, but I believe that in the semifinals it was 07 versus SCCC. If you want to watch those episodes, those matches, please go to my YouTube, and then SCCC versus AP for to see who made 3rd and 4th place, and it ended up being AP took 3rd place. But SCCC, a very, very strong team in COTS. I cannot wait. I want to watch if KSC defeats Bonks and goes on to face QQ7, then in theory we'd have to ask QQ7's permission to cast that match, since you're a part of KSC, which means we might be watching Star for another round, which I had no idea could happen. But
I will be honest, I didn't expect it either, but I am not complaining. I didn't know Star coming into this. I've seen Star in random matches. I've seen the tag. I've never seen play that has come off this well. I've never seen cross torps like this. I've never seen positional movements used this way. This almost feels, and I believe, did somebody say that Star is Brazilian? Is that correct?
Star is a Brazilian clan.
Okay, well, they might play on the North American server, but I've seen what it looks like when Europeans and North Americans collide, or Russians and Europeans collide. There's just a different style of play from people that live in different parts of the world. And even though Star is North American, I'm just seeing different moves. I'm seeing different comps, and it's really just, is this a way to get right to the heart of a conventional map movement and just dig right through it? Because so often, like, the 4 destroyer comps are used in a way of like, well, how can we just bully down and abuse a ship? Whereas in these cases, it's almost like ambushes and setup plays, which I just don't often see. I'm very, very curious to see how this cuts across to SCCC, because I don't know the names off the top of my head, but I do believe SCCC has some very dominant destroyer play as well, and I would love to see those two things clash right up against each other. That would be fun as heck.
It really would. Guys, I hate to do this because I really want to watch Star go up against SCCC, but I have to go. I have to go because it is my girlfriend's birthday party is this evening, and I have food to make. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. I'm going to go ahead and once the game catches up, so to speak, I'm going to go ahead and send my viewers over to Oscons. I'm going to raid Oscons, and I'm going to go make food for my whammon. Oscons, I'm sorry that I can't be here to help you cast. It's a lot harder to do one person at a time. But I'm afraid I have to go do that. It's been a pleasure casting with you today, though.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of scared. Maybe I'll be able to rustle up a secondary caster just to kind of help me out in the meantime. But if you can go ahead and sign me up for something, I have no idea where you do that.
I will do it for you, yeah.
Okay.
Give me 2 seconds. I'm going to let my chat know.
All right, well, I'm going to kick it to break. To the folks over in Bogsy's chat, I guess you'll see me soon. But we're going to be on break until something kicks, which is either going to be the next Star match or potentially, well, yeah, probably the next Star match, but we'll see where it goes. So I don't really have control over that. I'm just the dude that talks about stuff that happens on the screen. I'm going to kick it to break. I'll see y'all soon.